All right, welcome to another edition of Prep Sports Now. We're presented by the A's and Las Vegas Aviators. Thank those two fine baseball organizations for their support of high school sports in Southern Nevada. Couldn't do it without them. I've said time and again, love a night out at Las Vegas Ballpark watching the Aviators, and can't wait till the A's get to town. I'm Ray Brewer, alongside with Jack Williams, who is one of our sports guys, mostly covers the Golden Knights, but he has some reporting time in Florida, and Bishop Gorman goes to Florida this week. So, Jack, you are continuing a long line of people co-hosting the show. Welcome to Prep Sports Now. Plateau of the career.
Yeah, no, it's great to be here. I mean, it's a long and winding career for America in a very little time. I started in North Dakota, was there for 9 months, and then made my way down to Tallahassee, which is where I did my Florida time, as Ray mentioned. Covered preps there for about 2 years, and I did Florida State this past year, and then now I'm here in Vegas covering like Ray said, mainly the Golden Knights. I'm currently doing some Aces stuff right now, but yeah, no, good to be here. And good to see another high school football scene as well. It's always cool to experience these communities and just learn more about them.
Okay, so we have you on the show because you've lived in Florida.
Yes.
You could speak. I've been telling everybody is like Gorman, their next game after playing St. Thomas Aquinas. So St. Thomas Aquinas ranked 11th by Max Preps. Mm-hmm. If after this game, Gorman has to play Mater Dei, which everybody's like, this is the de facto national championship game. I'm like, let's pump the brakes here. Going to Florida to play a game on ESPN is tough for a lot of reasons, but for me, it's the humidity. I'm a desert rat, born and raised in Las Vegas. Is the humidity? Am I putting too much stock into the humidity? Is Gorman? You can't prepare for that.
No, it's truly the way I've described it to people is since I've moved here and talked to people in Florida too is like the heat here doesn't sit on top of you like it does in Florida. It is fatiguing. It feels like you're kind of breathing in molasses. Do you know what time of the day that they're playing at?
Yeah, kickoff is 4 Florida time. And then, which is 1 here. Not that matters, but 4 o'clock Florida time.
Right. So that might actually play a little bit more of a factor than I think a lot of people are expecting right now. Obviously, games are played at night most of the time in just high school football in general. But in Florida, when you get to those midday games, those late afternoon games, those are the hottest parts of the day, especially down in Fort Lauderdale where St. Thomas Aquinas is being right by the water. It does take a toll as well. It does get really hot down there. The weather will play a factor. I don't know how heavy a factor it will be as well, but I mean, coming from somewhere as dry as here, going to somewhere as humid as there, it's definitely something that Gorman should take into mind moving down into that region.
Yeah, it's very interesting. So Gorman opened the season on Friday night. They beat Kahuku of Hawaii. As everybody knows, I'm not the greatest person out there with saying names, but so the narrative in week 1 of high school football is you're going to get a ton of mistakes. You're going to have some confusion on offense and defense, right?
Right. Absolutely.
Dude lines up in the wrong spot. It's really profound on some of the lower class schools where you might get a kid playing varsity football for the first time or football for the first time.
Oh yeah.
Doesn't know how to put his pads on even, and he's out there trying to be the X. And like, well, where's the X? I'm just going to go run out and go long. And so Gorman, which is usually immune to this, they had an interception near the end zone. They had a turnover on downs. They had a fumble. They had a few botched assignments on the offensive line. And yet at the same time, they got better as the game progressed. So you say, okay, this is the nation's best team. Jet Washington, great safety for class of 26, 2 interceptions. Derek Meadows. So you covered Florida State. You've seen some guys that could go. Right?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Okay, so this Derek Meadows kid, he picked LSU. He's a senior over Notre Dame and Michigan.
Okay, yeah.
And he's like 6'5", really long. And he runs, and I don't know if you've ever seen, like, when we run, our feet hit the ground a lot.
Yeah.
Okay. When people who win state championships in the high hurdles run, it's like they're floating on clouds.
Right, yeah.
And this kid, I've probably seen it in all my years of covering high school football, but it's rare to see somebody who just glides through the air, peacefully glides through the air. And I'm like, wow, if Gorman could get this kid in open space, I don't care if they're playing on the moon or if they're playing in the snow, because both teams have to play on the moon and the snow. And this kid could just take over. Right. I don't want to give any hints away, but I'm going to pick Gorman.
Okay.
Because their offensive line is like 5 D1 kids, going to Tennessee, blah, blah, blah. And I just think when push comes to shove, you run the ball.
Absolutely.
Okay, and the bigger team wins the game and knocks them around and goes from there. But give us an insight, because you've been to some high school games in Florida. Is because you always hear like there's three states where high school football is king.
Right.
Texas, undisputed champs.
Absolutely.
Ohio, because my dad's from there and he tells me it's great. To be announced, right?
Yes.
And Florida.
Yeah.
What makes high school football in Florida so good? Is it the athletes? Is it the atmosphere? What is it?
It's just the depth and range, honestly, of that entire state. It's so crazy, and it doesn't help, too, that the governing body just kind of doesn't really have any control of it as well. But it's become such a wild... as Nevada is further west than Florida, but it's truly become a wild west of vibes just out there as well, of just kind of people really just doing whatever they can to win out there and stuff like that. You have kind of the rural scene where I was up by. They divided divisions up at one point because at just some points it was becoming unfair for some of these teams. Like Miami Central was going up against these little schools from like Tallahassee and around Daytona Beach, and it was just becoming unfair to a point to where they were just beating up on them. So they had to divide the schools up into 3 divisions, which was metro, suburban, and rural. The Miami schools were in this metro division along with Tampa and Orlando. The suburban was like Tallahassee and Daytona Beach, and the other schools that were cities pretty mid-sized. And then there's the rural division. It's gone away from that since now. But the height of competition down there, especially where St. Thomas Aquinas comes from, around Broward and Dade County, is unbelievable. There are four really elite private school programs down there, and just kind of the programs that really come out of there and show that they're state champions end up being the best in the nation. I believe Aquinas won a state championship last year. One of the best programs in the country. Samada Madonna is down there at Hollywood, which is another great program. American Heritage, another one that's catching up. And the other one is Columbus, which feels more like a public school and less of a private school. And then with Aquinas, this is a year, in my opinion, that they're trying to be kind of getting to an IMG level of sorts. They're going out and playing in schools that are outside of Florida. And granted, you can stay in Florida and play some really good competition, but this is the first year that they're really starting to jet out and playing teams like Gorman to really cement themselves as a national power. But this is a big year for them.
I've always wanted to see an IMG Gorman game. The matchmakers, and literally there are matchmakers with ESPN, have never really pieced it together.
IMG will never play a Gorman type of school because IMG only plays schools that they can beat, in my opinion. But
okay, well there you go.
Yeah,
you just now have a bunch of new fans in Vegas.
I'm just saying they played Miami Central. Miami Central beat them. They're not probably going to play Miami Central ever again. So.
Okay, so my last Gorman comment before we move on to the other games is every year, like they have so many kids that are like D1 kids, and every year you show up and you're like, who is this kid? And so they've got a DB, Hayden Stepp. Maybe, I don't know, Stepp.
Looks like Stepp.
Yeah. 4-star recruit, 6'3", 185 pounds, class of 27. So he's a freshman, right? Dude, his arms hang on the ground. Like literally his knuckles are hitting the turf.
He's a freshman.
That's how long he is. And I'm like, he pops off the chart and I'm looking at the roster and I'm like, who's this kid? He might be a sophomore. 25, 26, 27. Sophomore. Okay.
Either way, young kid.
And and I'm like, God, this kid is well put together. Went on his Twitter page. Of course, he's been offered by everybody. Miami, San Diego State, UNLV. I don't know. Once you get the UNLV offer, you should probably just commit right away. You don't
no bias there at all.
You don't want to lose your spot. But I really was impressed with this kid. Gorman pieced it together. Mel Spicer started quarterback through an interception, wound up completing 10 of 12 passes, almost 200 yards. 2 touchdowns. Gorman's rocking and rolling. We'll see them 1 o'clock Vegas time, ESPN, Saturday, ready to rock and roll. Of course, Gorman not the only show in town. Let me tell you, you never brag in life. Okay?
All right, yeah.
So last week I was like, hey, everybody look at me. Here are my picks. Last year I went 87%. Ooh. This is the Bible. No matter what I say,
this is the word.
It's gonna come to fruition. I went 6-4.
Oh, okay.
And those 3 of those 4 picks that I went against, they're like, you're a bum, you're a bozo, blah blah blah.
Really?
Yeah, I was hearing it from the people.
I mean, you're still bowl eligible though. I wouldn't say that's bad.
Correct. 60%, not quite 87. I really missed on one game.
Okay.
So I'm from East Las Vegas. I love all things East Las Vegas. Shap, Vegas, El Dorado, Desert Pines, to a fault. Vegas, who used to be the team in town, like in 07, 08, so much where Kiefer hated me.
Really?
About it. To stop talking about Vegas, blah, blah, blah. They opened against Palo.
Okay.
And Palo's in Summerlin. They were 1 step away from winning state last year in the lower division.
East Valley versus West Valley.
Yeah, and I'm like, Palo's going to roll Vegas. Vegas beat them 27-6.
Oh,
I was completely wrong, and the worst part is I cheated on myself. So shout out to Coach Jose, former player at Sorrentino, former player at Colorado State. First year at his alma mater, Vegas, and I know the game meant a lot to him and a lot of the people there. That was the upset of all upsets in week 1, and a lot of people were happy for those kids at Vegas. Very good job by the Wildcats defending their home turf. I want to give a shout out to their quarterback, Tanner Vabule, probably saying it wrong. He had 4 touchdowns.
Ooh, target.
Yeah, he was ready to roll. Reginald Carter had a long touchdown. So great job by the Kitty Cats getting it done. I also was wrong on Foothill Slam. Now, I'm zoned for Foothill. My kid's likely going to go for Foothill. Slam's a Class 3A power. I thought Foothill had I thought the cupboard was bare. Well, it turns out they were up 34-0. I kind of missed the mark on that one. They just completely reloaded. Brennan Arthur, 2 touchdown passes, 1 to Bryce Rodriguez. My guy Eugene Antebella III had 2 touchdown runs. Avant Gates Jr., a real deal, legit Division 5 or Class 5A guy with a touchdown. So shout out to the Falcons. Of course, my hometown school, Moapa Valley, got it done against Durango. Huge game this week. We're going to play a trick on Jack because Jack's going to read the matchups.
Oh, man.
And he's going to make a mistake, and we'll let all the people text him and tell him that he's got it wrong.
Or they won't tell me and just let me keep repeating it. It's usually how both ways go.
Yeah. And maybe the effort of the night, Liam Radke, 32-yard field goal, sophomore, to give Faith, another game I picked wrong, a victory over Desert Hills of Utah, 25-23.
Really?
Radke made 2 field goals. He also missed one. The Faith coach is Mike Sanford, who used to be the UNLV football coach. Dude uses his kickers. His kicker last year is going to be UNLV's kicker this year. So
kept the faith with him.
Yeah, kept the faith. Boom. Yeah. And great job, Alex Rogers, the quarterback. Threw 2 touchdown passes. Justin Robbins rushed for a touchdown. The Crusaders, 25-23 victory. Boulder City beat Valley, kind of expected. Valley is piecing it together. Desert Oasis shut out Del Sol, probably expected as well. Shout out to the coaching staff over there. They got their first dub as a team. I'm trying to see if I forgot anybody. How could I forget about Legacy? My guys. Okay. Legacy, defending 4A state champs. Aiden Crawford, 309 yards, 4 touchdowns. Dominic Oliver, the best player you've never heard of. 2 interceptions, a receiving touchdown. There's a reason why he's got all those Division I offers. Shout out to Jordan Thompson Woods, 2 touchdown receptions. I think that accounts for everything. I'm telling you right now, Legacy is a legit program. The Monticelli kid, I've said time and again, is a great coach. Virgin Valley beat Somerset Losi. A little bit of an injury at quarterback for Somerset. We'll touch on that later. But Virgin Valley coming up from Mesquite, not easy.
Nope.
Got the dub. Have you been to Mesquite?
I have not been out to Mesquite. No, I do know where it is.
How long have you lived here for?
Almost 4 months.
4 months?
I need to take a trip out to Mesquite.
Apparently, they got great golf and a good place to get a spa day.
Really?
Other than that, I'm not sure, but I usually stop there on the way to Utah.
Okay.
We're going to make it happen.
I'll have to do a little trip down that way, up that way.
So we had a small slate this week. We got a big slate coming up, including Liberty is getting going against Skyridge of Utah. Liberty's like top 100 nationally.
Henderson, absolutely.
They're ready to roll. Got a lot of teams at this time of the year playing folks from out of town, right? So whether it's Shadow Ridge against Spanish Freaks of Reno for Reno, or Faith Lutheran going into Bakersfield to play the Carr brothers at Bakersfield Christian. Derek Carr, the former Raiders quarterback, his brother's the coach there. Slams going into Mojave, Arizona, which is where Bullhead City is. So we are going to give our projections. Well, I'm going to give my projections.
All right. Yeah, go
and
ahead. Jack
is going to ask me about all these games in order, and as the picks will appear. And we'll tell you, I strive to be better than 60%, and I don't know if I'm going to get to 87%, but we'll give it a shot.
We'll see. That's the best you can do is try.
And again, Kiefer, who's been my sidekick for a decade, focusing on Raiders, he's going to pop in when he can to insult me. If anybody wants to play Jack in future weeks, hit me up. We already appreciate. We got one person for Henderson Bowl. We got somebody from Virgin Valley for when they play the Hammer game against Mawapa. And one of the coaches at one of the other schools raised his hand as well. So we've got some guest hosts lined up. But, Jack, let's do the picks.
Let's roll with this. All right. Big game, Bishop Gorman at St. Thomas Aquinas.
Yeah, so maybe this is a homer pick, and not surprisingly, all the people that hate private schools think that, like, Gorman and the Fertitta brothers are paying me, which I have not received a penny from them. It doesn't also help that the faith I practice is the faith of the school.
Right, yeah.
And my wife may be employed by the church. Not the Gorman church, but the church in general. Other than that,
state pride here.
Yes, yeah. But here's the deal. I really think that Gorman, if they wanted to, and I know their OC, Coach Canfield, he's the best high school offensive coordinator in town, in the world, in the nation.
All right.
He, if he wants to, could get in Power Eye and just run the rock and kill the clock. And I think Gorman might be better conditioned than St. Thomas Aquinas. Forget the humidity.
I would agree.
They just are constantly lifting. I got Gorman in a close game because it is teenagers traveling and the heat.
I will say I'll add this little tidbit to it as well. Aquinas, Florida has this thing. They have their kickoff classic week. They don't really play week one games last week, so they played just a regular in-state school last week. Gorman's been tested a little bit more than Aquinas has early in the year. But moving on to the next game, Skyridge out of Utah at Liberty.
Okay, so I have theories.
Okay.
A lot of these picks, 87%, is based on theories.
All right.
One theory that's only usable right now is take the team that's played a game versus a team that hasn't played a game, right? Because we've already talked about inconsistent play, penalties. Skyridge is a really, really good Utah school. Max Prep say they're ranked 3 in the state. I think they've got a chance to win the state championship. I have them coming into Henderson and giving the Liberty Patriots a loss.
Ooh.
Utah beats Nevada.
All right. Sierra Vista at Coronado.
I see this one crystal clear. Aiden Cross back for the Cougs. J.J. Buchanan, who's committed to Utah, back for the Cougs. Coronado was on fire to close last year. They return a lot. They have more numbers than any other team not named Centennial in Nevada. I got the Cougars winning rather comfortably.
Looks like you have a little bit of a difference of opinion. What you talked about earlier, Las Vegas at Basic.
Okay. So, you're right. Basic, when I first started in the industry, this is year 28 for me. Okay. I've been doing this longer.
It's
than
a year longer than I've been alive.
Okay.
So.
There's just something special about Don Taylor Stadium on a Friday night. The first game, a true community event. It's in Deep Henderson. They play the same fight song as the University of Michigan.
All right.
And I think the Wolfpack, who I think they're just better than Vegas, and I got them winning a close game at home to open their home state.
Another Utah school, Highland, is taking on Legacy.
Okay, so just raved about Legacy and how I love them and how they're up and coming. But Highland out of Salt Lake is a real deal Utah school. They're big up front, and I think they deal a loss to the Longhorns.
Looks like an exciting matchup between Centennial and Desert Pines.
So don't know, Jack, how to read Desert Pines. I know they've lost not only – so we had our event at Red Rock like 3 weeks ago.
Right,
4 weeks ago, whatever. You picked the time span. One of the three guys that Desert Pines brought played against Gorman on Friday night for Hawaii, Kahuku, Hawaii. So,
all right.
Yeah,
Right.
and Sierra Canyon, where LeBron's kids went, has already come in and rated the Desert Pines roster pretty good.
Really?
The quarterback at Desert Pines left, so they're starting a 14-year-old freshman. I don't know what to make of Desert Pines. I know they send 8 kids D1 every year. I know they got talent. I know they got 2 good returners on the O-line. I just don't know what to think. And Centennial, they won state last year. And I got to make a small correction. Centennial won the 4A title. Legacy won the Class 5A Division III title.
Okay.
Not that matters, but we're trying to be accurate.
Clarity, absolutely.
That's what we do. I don't know what Centennial has either. And so this is a famous Ray Brewer, anyone have a coin, I give myself one of these, heads or tails.
All right.
I flipped the penny I got in my desk drawer, and it landed on Centennial 16-15.
All right. That's a sick high school name. Hurricane from Utah versus Moapa Valley. Is that right?
I think it is right because I always call them Moapa, and I've been getting it wrong for 20 years.
Oh, all right.
The trick, though, was Kiefer and I used to call it Hurricane, but it's Hurricane.
Hurricane?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, and that was where I was going to get you. Because those people, small town communities, we have a ton of listenership. And they'll call, hey, you got to get our name right.
Hurricane?
The mayor may call you later tonight.
Oh, man.
So, just be prepared.
Hurricane, I'm sorry, guys.
These two teams play each other at camp every summer. So Moapa Valley is located in Overton, which is the town before Mesquite.
Okay.
So all the kids here in Vegas, they play like NYS football, like for the Junior Gales or 702 Blessed, which is Liberty's feeder team. The Utah schools, the Moapa Valley and Virgin, they go play in St. George, Utah leagues.
Yeah.
So
right there.
So this is kind of a rivalry between a Southern Utah school and Moapa. The game's close every year. I'm actually going against the Pirates. I've got Utah 24-21.
All right.
That's a small upset if you're keeping track at home because Moapa never loses at home.
Really? Okay. Let's see if I mispronounce this one. Which I'm just going to go straight for. Is it Damien? Damian?
Not sure on either of these, and I don't know how Mojave got the game. I know their coach is from Hawaii. I go with if the University of Hawaii struggles to travel to play off the island, how is this high school going to struggle getting to Vegas to play? So I'm going Mojave 22-20.
All right. Sunrise Mountain at Foothill.
Okay, so Foothill was a team that I was wrong on. They look great. Sunrise Mountain, first game. You got that theory. Also, Foothill's just good. They're going to score. They're not going to have much success in league games, but when they're playing a team a few divisions lower like Sunrise, they roll. One Hill Falcons all the way.
Absolutely. Desert Oasis. Oh my God. Desert Oasis at Silverado.
Easy pick here. Dio won 44-0 last week at Del Sol. Silverado, first game. Coach Briello, first year, my guy. I've known him and his son when his son was over at Green Valley. Looking forward to see what he could do at Silverado. But week one, I got the D-backs coming through.
All
Yep.
right. Green Valley at Hiraman, or is it Herman?
Not sure.
Utah.
Green Valley lost last year at home to this team. During the hurricane game, there was a week where a lot of games got canceled because of lightning. You ever heard that song? Thunder and the lightning. Or the lightning and the thunder.
The thunder.
The second we see one little lightning in the sky here, it's like, oh, we're done. Nobody's playing here.
Really?
They're very safe. They played through it last year. Green Valley lost. They're going to lose again. But the Gators are on the up and up this year.
Bonanza at Valley looks like your first shutout.
Yeah, God bless Valley. Bonanza's going to win this game.
All right. Losi at El Dorado.
Okay. So Losi is the favorite to win state in the 4A.
Okay.
Here's the good news about Nevada. Every team starts the year in the playoffs.
Okay, yeah.
Everybody makes the playoffs.
Right.
Losi is big and strong up front. They're the class of the 4A. They lost last week to Virgin Valley, a 3A school. And that's because a few things. They fumbled 4 times. RJ Oliveria, 3-year starter at quarterback and safety, high ankle sprain. I don't know if I'm allowed to say that, but injury.
Yeah.
And I gave it away. But either way, he's going to be out an undetermined amount of time. 2 weeks, 4 weeks, 6 weeks. It doesn't matter.
Right.
Because Losi's going to make the playoffs. Now, you'd like to get the bye in the first week and then to play the Little Sisters of the Poor in the second week. But as long as they get to the dance, which they're already there,
absolutely,
they're in.
Might as well.
So they're going to beat El Dorado. El Dorado, now listen, El Dorado started, they're rivals with my high school, Chaparral.
Okay, all right. God.
East Side, though, so you root for them. They have been called the Sun Devils forever, since the 70s.
Right. They just changed their name
to the Firehawks or something, right? Arizona State comes down. They're like, oh, we got to pump the brakes on this infringement. Some poor all-Latino school on the East Side. We're now going to make them the Firehawks. So the Firehawks are going to debut against Losi, and they're going to get crushed.
Okay. Spanish Springs at Shadow Ridge.
Here's another rule. This is the golden rule.
Golden rule?
Never, ever, 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 ever take a Reno team over a Vegas team. However, if a Vegas team goes up to Reno, you got to take a look at it because sometimes when you get up to Reno, the ball looks a little different.
Got to do a little bit of a double take.
They're cooking the books. But Shadow went up last year and beat Spanish Springs. They're going to beat them here again this year. I'm all in on the Mustangs, and I am not... I'm not taking a Reno school against anybody. And let me tell you, last weekend, kids were moving into college and everything. And I'm on Facebook. It's an old person social media app. Okay. The amount of people I know that were taking their kids up to Reno for college made me vomit. Like, why would you... Oh, so your kids could experience
living... It's a bigger school in the state. I guess it's their version of if the kids want to go further away from home.
If you want to go live... You're going to pay to go live in that crappy city with all those people that think backwards. It's like there's UNLV, better athletics, better research institution, more diversity. It looks like the world, right? It's here in Las Vegas, right?
Right.
The greatest, and we're going to go so our kids could stay in the dorms and learn how to be independent and go. I can't figure it out. Anyways, enough about that. Spring Valley at Cimarron.
Cimarron, all right.
I got Cimarron. I hate that Marcus Till's no longer the coach over at Spring Valley. He'd been there since 2008. I hate what happened. I thought he got done dirty a little bit, but that's between neither and I are there. Cimarron 13, Spring Valley 12.
Cheyenne at Pahrump.
Pahrump. Over the hump at Pahrump. Tough place to get to. One way in a Pahrump, one way out.
Where is it?
It's you go to Silverton, and then you go up. It's like scenic route 160 or whatever.
Okay.
Tough drive, especially from North Las Vegas on a bus. No way Cheyenne wins.
Chap at Virgin Valley.
Chaparral. the greatest high school in Nevada. Class of 94. Who could want more? The boys aren't going to get it done this week in Mesquite. I got Virgin Valley,
Faith Lutheran at Bakersfield Christian in California.
Another rule. Vegas into California. Not a great result.
It's a little hairy.
I got Bakersfield 25, Faith 10. They'll kick a field goal. I could guarantee you that. Okay.
Northview, California at Durango. Other way around, I guess, is the rule
Second
change?
verse, same as the first. Not here in this situation.
Slam at Mojave in Arizona.
Yeah, if you can't beat a team in Bullhead City, you got to stop playing, period.
Oh, my God. Clark at Pinecrest.
I got to plead the fifth. I know very little about either of these schools, but I'm picking Clark because I just can't see a school that's been around that long losing to a charter school that's trying to develop its program.
Good rule. Final game here on the list, Democracy Prep at Western.
Democracy Prep played last week. They beat somebody, not sure who. Western first game, young kid coaching that I covered when he played for Arborview.
Really?
His first game as a varsity head coach. I'm rooting like heck. Dude, here's the deal.
You got a close match. You have a close score there.
I'm rooting for all the grade 8 schools, right? Mm-hmm. When I was a kid, we had like 12 high schools, right? Western, Clark, Shap, Valley, Eldo, Bonanza, Basic, Boulder City, Rancho, Gorman, right? Those were kind of what we had. And, of course, those were in the urban core.
Right.
And now, as the city's expanded a little bit, it's tough to get these rosters populated, especially early in the season. You got kids that just haven't had the required practices, couldn't get the physical. Then you run into ineligibility problems later in the season.
All the things you have to work out.
So it's tough, but I am rooting for the Western Warriors. Not that I'm not rooting for Democracy Prep. I'm rooting for everybody. I want everybody to have fun, enjoy the great thing that is high school football. Jack, what'd you think? First podcast in the books?
Yeah, absolutely. No, this is such a fun time. High school. There's nothing like high school sports. This is a lot of fun. Seems like a really fun area to watch high school football for sure.
Okay, we'll probably get Jack out to a game before the year's over. For Jack, I'm Ray, and one more time, shout out to the Aviators, Las Vegas Aviators, and the A's. I know the baseball season's winding down, but if you could get out to Las Vegas ballpark, there's nothing better than sitting there and watching some future big leaguers. So thank you guys for supporting us, and we will talk next week.